Hello, guys, welcome back. We have today lesson 5. Today, we are going to talk about geographic regions. The United States is often divided up into geographical regions. So, using this region can help to describe a large area and also helps to group together states that are similar in features such as geography, culture, history, and climate, as we were talking about around this one, two, three, four, and five lesson. So, while there are some official government regions, such as those used by the U.S. Census Bureau and the standard federal regions, most people use five major regions when dividing up the states. Right. So, this could change according to the sources because in other sources, for example, you'll find an around two nine regions, for example. So this could change according to the sources, right? Well, well, they are the Northeast, so there's the Midwest, Southwest, and West. Because these aren't officially defined regions. Some border states may appear in different regions depending on the document, as I said before, or map we are looking at. For example, sometimes Maryland is considered part of the Southwest, but today, right now, we include it in the North on our map. So, we have the major regions, we have Northeast, states including Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. Climate is humid, continental climate with cool summers in the northern areas. Snow falls during the winter at the temperature are regularly below freezing. Major geographical features, they have the Appalachian Mountains, remember the Appalachian Mountains, Atlantic Ocean, Great Lakes, borders on Canada to the north. So now we have the Southeast state included West Virginia, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Florida. The climate, humid subtropical climate with hot summers, just like here. Hurricanes, oh no, we don't have hurricanes, thank God. Hurricane can reach landfall in the summer and fall months along the Atlantic and Gulf coasts. Major geographical features, we have again the Appalachian Mountains, Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Mexico, Mississippi River. So now we're talking about the Midwest. The states included Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. Climate, humid continental climate throughout most of the region. Snow is common during the winter, especially in the northern areas. Major geographical features, we have Great Lakes, Great Plains, Mississippi River, borders Canada to the north. Now we're going to go to the Southwest. State included, we have Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona. Climate, semi-arid climate in the western area with a more humid climate to the east. Some of the far western areas of the region have an open of desert climate. Major geographical features we have the Rocky Mountains, Colorado River, Grand Canyon, Gulf of Mexico, borders Mexico to the south. And now we have the west. States included Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Utah, Nevada, Carolina, Alaska, and Hawaii. Climate: a range of climate including semi-arid and alpine along the Rocky and Sierra Mountains. The coastline in California is a Mediterranean climate. Desert climates can be found in Nevada and Southern California. Mere geographical features: Rocky Mountains, Sierra Nevada Mountains, Mojave Desert, Pacific Ocean, borders Canada to the north and Mexico to the south. And now we have other regions. Here are some other sub-regions, let's say, that are often referred to: Mid-Atlantic, there are Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey. Central Plains, we have Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska. Great Lakes, we have Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan. New England, we have Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. Pacific Northwest, we have Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and the Rocky Mountains, we have Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming, Montana. As you can see, how classify your regions usually will be different. Could be according to the document, as I said, according to the sources, but don't forget about it. And don't worry about it. So we have here our map. Let's take a look. We have here the West region, the Midwest, Northeast, Southeast, Southeast, Southwest, West. This is one map. If you search on Google, you'll find around lot of kind of maps about regions. This is another one. We have here Northwest, Mountain West, Great Plains, Great Lakes, Heartland, Northeast, Mid Atlantic North. They have a lot of region over here. Right, so now we're going to watch a video, of course speaking about regions, but remember, every source is different. Most of the sources are different, and most of the sources are kind of similar. So in the next video, we'll watch another kind of map, another classification of regions, but don't worry about it. So let's watch the video.
The coastal plain stretches along the eastern seaboard of the Atlantic Ocean. These lowlands start in Massachusetts and make their way down the right side of many states that border the ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. This region abounds with hundreds of bays and harbors with calmer water as you make your way inland, which make exceptional sheltered areas for ships to dock and anchor. Port cities like Boston, Massachusetts, New York City, New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia's Hampton Roads with the large shipbuilding plants, the Outer Banks in the Carolinas, Savannah, Georgia, and New Orleans, Louisiana. Sandy beaches with warmer temperatures along the ocean provide vacation getaways for many tourists in the summer months and have for hundreds of years. If you have not yet drawn a picture of people playing on a sandy beach, please add that to your passport page on the coastal plain region. Marshlands and swamps provide homelands to thousands of wetland animal species, and the soil along the coastline is very fertile for farms. Formed over 1 billion years ago, these mountains are North America's oldest. Old and eroded, the Appalachian Mountains are located west of the coastal plain and often share the same states that form the coastal plain. They are rounded peaks covered with thick forests. The Appalachian Highlands run from Maine down through Georgia. Depending on where you are in these states, the Appalachian mountain ranges share different sections and have various names. The Appalachian Mountains in Vermont are called the Green Mountains. In New York, the mountains are called the Adirondack Mountains and the Catskill Mountains. In Maryland and Virginia, they are referred to as the Blue Ridge Mountains. In North Carolina and Tennessee, the mountains are called the Great Smokies. If you have not yet drawn rounded mountains on your passport for this section, now is the time. The Appalachian Highlands are the perfect spot to take a family vacation to enjoy the outdoors, sightseeing, hiking, canoeing, camping, fishing, and other recreational activities. They would make a trip very memorable. Go in the winter months when there is snow on the ground and enjoy skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiling, and snow tubing together. Created by giant glaciers, the rivers of ice and rock from the Ice Age left behind a rock shield known today as the Canadian Shield, as most of it is located in Canada, wrapping around the Hudson Bay. But a small portion of it dips down into the United States at the tops of Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin. This large curved area of very old rocks has very little soil underneath the ground from these ancient rock forms. Lake Superior is located in this region, and the area experiences frigid winters that start early in the season and end late. The area has thousands of lakes that have been made by glaciers over time. In fact, Minnesota is called the land of 10,000 lakes because of how very many of them are located there. The only time of year to visit this geographic region and enjoy the outdoors would be in the summer months. Enjoy rock climbing and canoeing in the summer months. Located south of the Canadian Shield and west of the Appalachian Mountains, these rolling flatlands are home to many rivers, vast river valleys, and grassy hills, known as the interior lowlands. Miles and miles of cornfields are evidence that the interior lowlands are great for farmland. Traveling right through this geographic region is the mighty Mississippi River, and from it flow all of its many, many tributaries that water the crops that grow there. It is also the home to many cities like Chicago, Illinois. Many people like to visit these cities like Chicago to enjoy the sights and sounds of the city, including Willis Tower, one of the highest skyscrapers in the world, Cloud Gate, Adler Planetarium, and Lake Michigan. And don't forget to enjoy a slice of Chicago deep-dished pizza. It's time to draw some pizza, folks. The interior lowlands is the neighbor to another Midwest geographic region, the Great Plains. Just a tad bit west, this region suffers from tornadoes, just like the interior lowlands, making these two regions known as Tornado Alley. This land is flat, 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 so you can see for long distances. Grasses cover the plains, also called the prairie. Very few trees grow in this region, but many farms use the flatlands to grow crops. And one of the major crops grown in the Great Plains is wheat. Wheat farmers have been growing wheat out here for hundreds of years. It's no wonder that this area is called America's breadbasket. Have you drawn a wheat field in your passport yet? If so, now is the time. Bison used to graze on the prairie grass and was a common natural resource for Native Americans living in this region. The flatland gradually increases in elevation as you head west, and that's where you can find Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. For those going on a trip here, some famous sites may be some of the places that Laura Ingalls Wilder from Little House on the Prairie lived with her pioneer family during the 1800s. The Rocky Mountains are located west of the Great Plains. These rugged mountains are home to the bighorn sheep and steep, rugged mountains that stretch from Alaska almost to Mexico. A jagged series of snow-capped peaks, these mountains don't have trees growing on their summits. Home to the Continental Divide, the Rocky Mountains are for experienced mountain climbers. Be careful not to run into a grizzly bear, though. Have you included one in your passport for the Rocky Mountains page yet? Winter sports are also a huge draw to visitors from all over the country. Check out one of these Colorado ski resorts. Located west of the Rocky Mountains, this geographic region includes low valleys and deserts. It's called the Basin and Range. The low valleys and deserts are the basin part, and the high elevated areas like plateaus and dry, jagged mountains are the range part. Home to desert animals like coyotes, jackrabbits, and rattlesnakes, there's very little rain that frequents the area. Some of the low desert spots include the Great Basin and California's Death Valley, the lowest place on Earth. Visitors may come to this region for various reasons. Many come to see the sights like Arches National Park and the huge saguaro cactus. Others like to spend the day riding on all-terrain vehicles or ride horses at a free-range cattle ranch. Others come to this area to hang out in cities like Las Vegas, Nevada, or Albuquerque, New Mexico. The Coastal Range is known because it has mountain ranges that butt right up against the coast of the Pacific Ocean. This geographic region lines the west coast of the United States and has portions in Washington State, Oregon, and California. Keep in mind, though, that all of these states also have portions of them in the Basin and Range geographic regions too. We are just talking about geography, what the land looks like with these regions. Notice the cliffs and the high elevated land drops dramatically at the shoreline. No wide, sandy, long beaches. If they are visible, it's only at low tide when the water has receded a bit to expose the sand underneath the water. The Coastal Range is known for mountains that are sometimes active volcanoes like Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier. The land features in the foothills of this range are home to the tallest trees in the world, called the Great Sequoias or redwoods. The land is fertile and is a great place for growing grapes, so vineyards around this region as well as citrus fruits abound. People love to visit the Coastal Range, whether going to Seattle, Washington, Hollywood, or San Francisco, California.